You fools! At ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. This is day 4 of rehearsal. So this is the last round, actually, of the first individual rehearsals for the semifinals. And Croatia just rehearsed Roko, The Dream. Was it a dream to us? Make sure you check out the video on the YouTube channel of Eurovision so you can get at least a little bit of an idea of what's happening. We'll share our thoughts as well and how it looked like the overall camera work. Zach, what are your thoughts?
So, I was a little worried about this. I was worried it was going to be very reminiscent of Croatia 2017, and people either love or hated Croatia 2017. But this was very much a very good use of the stage, and I think the wings. So the wings were much smaller than they were in the national performance, but they were used as part of a story, and there was very much a story arc with this performance, and I think Croatia delivered a good, solid performance.
Yeah. Well, one thing you point out is the story arc, because sometimes these acts come here, the delegations, but this is the message behind the story, and everyone is like, I didn't get it. I didn't see it in there. You know, I get what you thought, but it doesn't come across that way. Here it feels like there's very little room, not just for interpretation, but I was saying it's a very clear message, because you know how he starts in hell, basically, you know, with his fire wings, and then those two angels descend from heaven, and then they come in and dance around him for just a hot second, and then bring out his wings. He earned his wings, or whatever it means, and then whoop, off they go again. And that's basically the story, and then I'll make it like a little like silly, like a quick story, but that's what it is. And I think they did effectively manage to make it work. Now, I'm personally not always like the craziest fan of like the angel theme and the wings, because it's been done many times before. But what I do like about this one is it makes sense. There is a story behind it, and I did like overall the package, and they added a little bit more of backup vocals as well. I know Jacques, who wrote the song and represented Croatia a couple of years ago, is a backup singer as well. I feel like it adds a little bit more depth to it as well. Not that Roko's voice needs it, but it just, you know, it's still cool to hear. Any other thought that you want to point out? I mean, his voice was good, or anything else?
Yeah, I think there's really only one way they could go from what they had in the national performance. I kind of felt the national final performance was a little gimmicky and schmaltzy, and that's why I was really concerned. But I think Croatia, for anyone who is doubtful, they really redeemed themselves today.
Yeah. Yeah, whether or not it's going to be enough to qualify, you know, we're not going to even make predictions today. That's not what this video is for. But is there anything, like, because they get to rehearse a second time individually in a few days, what they should focus on? Is there anything that could improve upon?
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about these rehearsals is you get to see the work in progress, and you get to see constant improvements. And I feel Croatia really took a good job of looking at the camera really carefully, looking at what sort of angles needed to be changed to really make sure there weren't any distractions. And then the final run-through is where they add some of the effects. And with the smoke coming in, it was able to hide the blatant wings on the ground of the stage that we all noticed and could see during the first minute of the performance. So by having those effects used very minimally but effectively, I think it did really well.
Yes. The only thing, initially, because we didn't know, you know, we saw his wings on the ground, like, oh, it's kind of silly if we see his wings on the floor and they're just going to pick it up. Once they added the smoke, we didn't see them anymore, and made perfect sense. The only thing that I would still like if they could get, because when he gets his wings back, they're focused on that, like the Aztec putting the straps onto his shoulders. I find it a little silly looking, that part where they're trying to get those wings on.
It's a little awkward.
It's a little awkward.
Yeah.
It takes a little too long. If it would be fist, just slip it on and they're done. But it's kind of like, okay, lift this arm, then this arm. It looks a little awkward. So that's the only suggestion I have. And the stuff that they cannot control, Roko that is camera work, and that's always a thing, because at the very end, the angels go back to heaven, right, ascend, and we can see as they're walking back that the cut isn't right. Like, we know it doesn't, it's a fluid progress there, and that needs to be changed as well, I think.
The one other thing I would say also is that I could tell in the last rehearsal that his voice was starting to get a little tired, and he was taking it a little bit easier. The first two rehearsals, he was really going all in, and we were kind of speculating, well, maybe, you know, this is a comfortable range, he's not going to, you know, have any struggles. But that third rehearsal, you could tell he was kind of going in a lower register just to kind of save his voice. He knew when to stop, and that was smart of him. And you know, the last thing we want is for someone's voice to give out right before they actually go on TV.
And I will say, and this is my favorite thing to say, this will not hurt Croatia's chances, can only help Croatia do better. So I think this was, considering, you know, a really good first rehearsal. At least that's our observation. Watch that clip. Do you like the theme? Is it too much? Check out that clip and let us know. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. We got to move on. I'll see you all soon.